stretched and expanded, movement is given. So a lot of energy circulation within, a lot of blood supply within, that is going to relieve the congestions. And again, this is a boon for pregnant women too. Ready? So this is Baddha Kona Asana, which is the cobbler's posture or the butterfly posture, where a kriya is done. So the movement where you're flapping your knees up and down. You're flapping your knees like this up and down. Yeah, if you can see the movement, yes. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Yes, that's it. Relax. So this is the Baddha Kona. Just hold it and sitting straight, adjusting yourself, the whole spine. That is the Baddha Kona Asana, the butterfly posture or the cobbler's posture as we call it. The next one would be the Supta Baddha Kona, where you are lying down in that same position. You are lying down. You can see from both the positions, the vertical and the horizontal. You can lie down. Yeah, maybe you can slow down a little. That's so this is called as the princess posture also, because there's a lot of opening up and relaxation that is happening here. Complete relaxation and complete opening up of the pelvis, relieving all the conditions, all the tensions, and it's really helpful for women. Relax, slowly turn around into the Makarasana. Garima, if you can go down your mat a little bit. Yeah, so, yeah. Is that okay? Okay. Right. So now we come into the Makarasana, where the posture, that is the face prone posture. Again, it is shown in two different variations where she has her feet in this way, opened and relaxed. And this has the feet where your feet are turned outwards also. This is a complete relaxation posture. Makara meaning the crocodile, where the crocodile lies in the water ready for its prey to catch up and bounce on its prey like this. So relaxation posture, where again the whole of the spine is now relaxed. There's no gravitational action on the spine. Though the gravitational action is there, it is equally spread across the whole of the spine. And this is, like relaxation, stress alleviation, digestion. It helps enhance the Jata Ragni, especially, your navel region, which is the region of digestion, enhances the fire, the digestive fire. And, where the next posture is called as the Bhujangasana. If you are ready, from the sitting also they will be doing. We are showing you different variations of the same posture. I'll explain it as we are doing. Ready? You can see this is having the elbow down. This is a very, very simple position. Sarala, as we call it. So very simple way, anybody and everybody can do it. And it's a very, very good one for the back pain. And this again is like she's extended a little more, if you can see. So those who are more proficient, more flexible, can do it like this. And from the sitting, what they will be doing is, end of the day, come into the chair, moving upwards, opening the shoulders, opening and completely stretching upwards. There's a beautiful curve in the spine, also enhancing the same features that you saw from the lying down. So relaxing a little bit before we move on to the next one. The next one would be where you can turn around into Shavasana. Shavasana is the posture, what we call as the best posture. Everybody in our yoga class, this is the posture that they would love to do. Always relaxation, where you are lying down completely relaxed. There's absolutely no force, no nothing that is restricting you. Your body, mind, emotions, everything now at relaxation. So from this, we'll be doing two positions, two different movements and the holding. See, when we are moving up and then moving down, it in synchronization with the breathing. So breathing in, you move up your leg. Breathing out, you put it down. And then in, you take the left leg up. Out, you put the left leg down. So all these, what happens is that one, the movement is given. And body is moving with the synchronization with the breath. So the body mind movement synchronizes and harmonizes the whole of you into an integrated being. What is split apart, the body, what it wants, is always fighting with the mind. Because what the mind wants, the body doesn't want to agree. What the body says, the mind doesn't want to agree. For example, when the alarm bell goes on in the morning, what do? The moment it goes on, we put it into snooze and we want to sleep. The body wants to stay lazy for more time, but the mind says, get up, you have so many other things to do. So move, 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 get up, get up, get up. So there's a small kind of a contradiction, a conflict between your body and the mind. The body always wants to be lazy, but the mind wants to keep, living up to its dharma, the duty, the responsibilities that it has. So that is where the conflicts begin, the fights begin. If it becomes long, there is a whole, split apart in the body and the mind. They lose the agreement between, they are in disagreement with each other. So the whole sense of wellness, the sense of ease is lost. That is why we combine them. What is conflicting now, what is fighting with each other, we have to combine them, we have to bring them together with the help of your own breathing. So breath is the magic word here. So your breathing is going to combine and bring together the body and the mind, which are in disagreement with each other or fighting with each other. So that is the key. That is why we keep telling breathing in and breathing out. So in synchrony with the breath. And this particular posture that we will be doing now, the leg lifting, enhances the pelvic tone. If you can see, the whole of the abdominal tone, the flabbiness of the abdomen, the lower abdomen, especially people who are obese, a lot of weight, the sagging abdomen, all this can be relieved when we are able to do this with a number of repetitions. Yes, it can be worked out, and this has a very, very good effect in shaping you up into that whatever the Miss Universe size is. Ready? Are you sleeping? Hands together. Now next to your body. So now start breathing in, hands palms down. As you start breathing in, start lifting your right leg up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stretch your feet, hold it. Yes. And now slowly put it down. Breathing out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your left leg up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it so that it can stretch nicely and relax. Breathing out, bring it down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now one more time. Right leg in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now hold it and hold the posture. So when we are holding the posture with normal breathing, we call it an asana. When we are just doing the movement with the breath, breathing in up and breathing out down, we call it a kriya. The same thing. Relax, put your legs down slowly. Now the left leg, Ekapada Uddana Asana with the left leg. And in the final position, you can either hold it if it becomes easier for you like this with both your hands under your leg. Otherwise, you can just leave your hands down and keep the legs stretched like this. This may be a little difficult for beginners, so I would advise you to hold it like this. Relax, slowly putting the legs down. And now lifting both the legs up together simultaneously. Stretching upwards. Yes, and hold it. And put it down. Very good. Slowly down, gently, and relax. So the same if you're going to be holding becomes the asana. So again, the lymphatic tissues, the lymphatic drainage as we call it, is very, very essential because if there is a lot of stagnation in the lymph nodes, that leads into a lot of unnecessary problems for us. So that is also alleviated with the joint movements that we do, and such movements where you're lifting up, putting it down, activating the lymph nodes, also helping relieve the congestions of the lymph nodes too. So the Pavana Mukta Kriya, so the same thing, right leg and left leg separately. We'll do it as a Kriya first. If you're ready, on the right side, breathing in. Hold your right leg, hold it tight, and throw. Breathing in, left leg, hold tight, and throw. If you can see what she is doing, can you just look once? She is just having her head down, only folding the knees and releasing it, whereas she has brought the neck to the knees. So these two are the different variations. Relax, relax. So these two are the different variations. People with cervical problems need not lift the neck up. They can just hold the knees tight like this. They don't have to bring the neck to the knees. I mean, they don't have to bend down the neck, stretch the neck over to bring it to the knees. It's much easier for them to just release it, keep it down as such. So no need to strain the neck, especially for people who have cervical spondylosis. But for the rest, if it is possible, it is better to lift the neck so that there's a nice tight circuit that is formed. This again, helps in addressing the obesity, the metabolism of the body is enhanced, diabetes, whatever it is that is related to the metabolism, metabolic disorders, as you have a whole set of them. All these are addressed with this posture, and you're also relieving the stress. When we are doing like breathing in, hold tight, and breathing in, hold tight, and so when we are doing that, it is like the stress is let go of then and there. So if we can do it with both the legs now, breathing in, holding both the legs. You can do it from the chair. Yes, one. Yeah, there's one person who's doing it from the chair. Yes, and relax. So that is the Dvipada Pavana Mukta. Pavana Mukta means it is also what is commonly known as the wind relieving posture. So people who have problems with the Vata, like dyspepsia, gastric problems, all these, anything related to the bloating, flatulence, all these abdominal related problems can be alleviated with this posture. And now coming to pranayama. So pranayama means this is a technique where we are manipulating the breath, the prana shakti, as I was telling you. The energy of the prana, which is kind of manipulated. So there is a right nostril alone which can be used, left nostril alone which can be used, helping relieve the blockages. Because any place where there is a blockage is kind of the energy is blocked. Say for example, you have a headache. What we in the yogic parlance say is that the prana flowing in the head is kind of blocked. So there is a deviation happening there. So if we address it, there has to be a lot of prana flowing, fresh prana into the head. So breathing helps to relieve these blockages. And pranayama helps us all these patterns, the negative thought patterns are relieved, and emotional stability is also brought into action. What we were talking about, the limbic system going around, your memory bank figuring all the unpleasant memories, the fear that's getting triggered, the stress that is put on, the reaction, taking you into the whole of the five mode, as I saw the case equation. So all of that is now what comes into control. Hypothalamus, which is right in the middle of the limbic system, works very well with pranayama. Immediate change is brought about. There's a calming down effect, which is percolating down the abdominal. So the whole of the stress reaction now becomes a relaxation response. So what was a stress? What was a pulled out fight reaction mode? Now it becomes a relaxation mode, calm mode. The whole parasympathetic activation over. The sympathetic is brought down. So pranayama helps maintain autonomic balance, as we say, because so the unit of begins where the right nostril, please understand this is my right side. I don't know whether it is reverse or your the right side is for activation, because right we call it as the surya, and the left side is for deactivation, pulling down chandra. You can associate, you know what you associate is sun means energy, lot of activation. So very after the if you want something to be done, you have a good digestion and metabolism enhanced, then you start having the surya activation. So you go to the left nostril and in and out exclusively to the right nostril. So in and out to the right nostril helps you to enhance yourself, energize yourself. Whereas if you are feeling very stressed, very anxious, you have calmed down, you're not able to sleep because of the anxiety, insomnia. So you need to cool down, you need to relax. So that time what you do your right nostril and breathe that out exclusively only the left nostril. So the left is Chandra Nadi helps to relax, helps to cool down. Surya Nadi, the right, it helps to activate, helps to energize you. So just two rounds of the practice in each. If you can relax and with this. Okay. So this is like in pranayama, you can forward and then you sit like this. In contrast, air flows fine. It is automatically aligned with the whole of the natural shape and curves. If not, you can sit like this. Ardha Padmasana and again just yourself. If you want to nice air, which you can hold your hand. So hold hand of your hands. Left hand is Mudra, like this, facing upwards, Jnana Mudra, and right hand manipulating your nostrils, where you're closing your left nostril. So first is for activation. If you're ready, closing your left nostril, sit your eyes closed, start breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the same thing after activation, we are going to deactivate. Now same, closing your right nostril, exclusive breathing through the left nostril. Again through the left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out, 2, 3, 4, 6. Relax and sit down for a while, calming down. Normally, when we are doing the practice of pranayama, we would advise 9 rounds of any pranayama which you are doing for the benefits to set in. If it is right nostril, you close the left and breathe in and out only through the right nostril. 9 rounds. 1 round of in and 1 round of out. That will be 1 whole round. So in, out is 1 round. Similarly, you have to do 9 such rounds. Repeat 9 times. Same, right, closed, left, in and out will be Chandra Nadi Pranayama for deactivation, for relaxation. And you can do also the alternate nostril, which, like because of time, I'm not doing. Alternate nostril breathing is for the balance that you can get because of that. All the activities that we are doing on the right side is connected to your left brain, and all the activities that we are doing on the left side is connected to your right brain. So the right nostril breathing that we do, closing the left nostril is activating the left brain, and the same thing, the left nostril is activating the right brain. So in order to get that balance, what we do is right followed by left, and then right, left followed by right. So we alternate the nostrils and breathe with, like that. So then, there is a crisscross happening at the eyebrow junction where the whole of the connection changes. So there's a balancing effect, and there's a beautiful connectivity between the both the hemispheres of the brain, the right brain and the left brain, connecting together, the neuronal triggering, the wiring of the neurons. The more they wire, they fire together and wire together, connecting new pathways are produced and all that. So this is a cooling pranayama. Next one, which is very, very essential for everybody nowadays to de-stress immediately. Within a moment, like 2-3 minutes, you will be completely de-stressed and totally cool down and relaxed. Whenever you are in the state of stress, anybody who's having this dyspepsia, burning of the, like the stomach, there's a lot of burning, bloating, lot of like burping happening, gastric problems, all these, the cooling pranayama is going to help. The allergy issues, the skin issues, cooling pranayama will immediately calm you down so that the allergy, the inflammations are brought down. So this is done in 3 different ways, in which normally any pranayama we inhale and exhale, we use only the nostril, we never use the mouth for breathing. Whereas this is one exception in the cooling pranayama where we breathe in through the mouth. Normally we advise breathing in through the mouth, and we never advise at all. But cooling pranayama is the only thing where we breathe in through the mouth and breathe out through the nostril. So the tongue is manipulated in 3 different ways. One is like this, where the tongue is made into a tube like thing, and you breathe in the air through the tube and breathe out through the nostril like. And the second way in which you manipulate the tongue is like this. You fold it inwards and breathe through the sides like tubes that is formed, and breathe in through the mouth and close the mouth and breathe out through the nostrils. And the other one is through the teeth, the gaps between the teeth. Inhale and exhale. So through the gaps. So these 3 variations. The first one where the beak, it was like a tube, is called the Shitali Pranayama. Where it is folded inward is the Sitkari Pranayama. And through the teeth is called that as the Sadanta Pranayama. They'll be showing you all the 3 variations now. Yes. Shitali, start breathing in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then they are both doing the Shitali with the folded beak like that. These young lads, now these 2 people are doing the Sadanta between the gaps of the teeth. And Priya is doing it in the folded way, the Shitali Pranayama. Yes. Out and relax. So finishing up our practice with the which is going to enhance the whole of the energy centers that we have based on the spinal column. We have different energy centers, and our functioning is enhanced. The energy is enhanced with the vibrating effect of each of these centers. So this particular pranayama, the Aum pranayama, is going to enhance the energy circulation in the whole of the spine. All the chakras are brought into activation. So if you are all ready, hands by the side. So breathe in, up to 3, 5, 6. Breathe out. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out. Last but not the least, the Brahmari Pranayama, which is considered one of the best pranayama practices to alleviate the stress and to enhance the sense of calm and peace around the mind, the mental peace, the emotional stability, and all these are promoted with this pranayama. And the Shanmukhi Mudra that we use in this is also very, very important, so that the sensory apparatus, which are always moving outward, to bring them inside so that you're able to focus within. So this is one pranayama where the nitric oxide production is enhanced 15 times more than the normal breathing, where the humming produces the nitric oxide, which is very, very important nowadays, especially in the corona times, for the inflammation, anti-inflammatory activity, the vasodilatation, the heart health friendly. All these they are trying to introduce nitric oxide as an inhalation, as a what is that? The nasal intonation is given nitric oxide, and the study is going on to enhance all these conditions for many conditions. So to alleviate the stress, this pranayama is very, very important. Just 2 rounds of this so that we can quickly conclude. If you're ready, the Shanmukhi Mudra. So hand on the auditory canal, the fingers, the first 2 fingers on the eyes, the ring finger next to the nose. You're not pressing the nose because you have to breathe, and the little finger on the mouth. So this will be like shutting all the sensory apparatus. And now you inhale and breathe in. Breathing out, you have to hum. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out. That's so people having rheumatoid arthritis, they may not be able to hold the hand in this way. So for them, we could suggest using the index finger to close their auditory canal. That's it. Relax. Hands down. You can lie down in Shavasana. So just contemplating complete relaxation. Relaxing yourself for a moment. Shavasana is like the posture where you're completely relaxing. The hands, palms facing upwards, and it is in this posture where you are connecting with your source. Normally, when the battery is down in the mobile phones, what do? We connect it to the charger and put it on into the connection, the socket. So to get it recharged. So what is our way to recharge? Is like we have to connect to our source, the universality, the universal energy. So our source is the universe, and we can do that connectivity only during the relaxation. When we are holding tight, when we are stressed, when we are doing some activity, the relaxation doesn't happen. So relaxation has to be done very consciously, where you let go of everything and completely relax yourself, calming down. Your physical body is in a position of rest, and there is healing and regeneration happens when you are in this relaxation mode. And the relaxation response is triggered on, and you connect to your source, and you get a complete recharge, rejuvenated, and the whole of your being becomes a new redefined being. So this is Shavasana, where you're focusing on your breath and relaxing completely, letting go. We have a relaxation technique which helps, focusing on the body, on the mind, complete balance of the emotions. And if you can slowly turn around, coming and sitting up, we'll finish up with the Shanti mantra. This is the most difficult part, to come out of Shavasana. Right hands in Namaskar Mudra. We'll finish up with Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Ready? Take a deep breath in. Shanti. 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 Rub your palms together and take your palms over your eyes, your face, your neck, giving a good stretch and relax. So thank you once again, Garima, Charulata, Tejasvi, Priya, and Shakina. Thank you for such a wonderful demonstration. And I'm sure the audience would be very, very benefited with all these different variations that they showed. So just to conclude, as you saw, yoga helps, beauty with brains. We have to balance both the beauty and the brains. So all the multiple responsibilities with the proficiency, yes. So everything is balanced with yoga. The mind is nourished, your body is activated and energized, and yes. So the empowerment of the woman happens, the Shakti that she is in, and that is able to manifest her potentials to the maximum. And what is holding you back is all in your head. It is all in the mindset. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. Break all the barriers, and yes, what you're looking for is right in there, and it is not out of you. It is right inside you, like the musk deer, which looks for the musk, the scent of the musk throughout the world, throughout the forest, looking for the scent. Where is the scenting from? The scent coming from the whole life. It is wasting looking for the source of that scent. And ultimately, after its death, the scent is taken from its own body. So the musk deer, like that, we are looking for happiness, we are looking for strength, for motivation everywhere else. So please go within, everything is within you, and it is all right inside you. So just tap that resources and go within. And women, this is something very, very negative about women. Everything else is positive, because we have this tendency of comparing ourselves, with the standard of others. If we are going to a mall, we are trying a dress, we come out and check with the others. Is this good for me? Is this color okay? Is this pattern okay? Why? Because we think we are not okay, we are not self-made, and we compare it with our friends. Oh, this is good on her. So is it good on me also, or is it not good? A rose is a rose, a jasmine is a jasmine. A rose cannot become a jasmine, or a jasmine cannot become a rose. So why each one of us is unique in our own ways. So why do we need to try to become the other person, right? So let us be ourselves and let us tap that uniqueness that we have, that unique special feature that we have, and bring it out. A butterfly has different stages, the metamorphosis, as we call it, from the egg to the larva to the pupa, where it goes into the cocoon, and it has to break open that cocoon and come out with its flying wings as the butterfly, as the most, delicate but still a beautiful butterfly. But the breaking out of the cocoon is the most important phase. It has to break out, use all its energy, all its strength to break that cocoon on its own